sometimes it's hard to have things that have such high expectations be lived up to. But I don't think there's any question that game in that environment lived up to anybody's expectations. First of all, that Kentucky team that was shorthanded when Ty went down, and then Wheeler kind of, bothered his ankle a little bit or something. For those guys to rally and outplay us like they did in the first half tells you they're a championship, team with a championship coaching staff. I think for us it's the sum of our parts. It's just that if we're playing 9 guys on a regular basis, sometimes 10, you got to count for it. You got to count for all of them. And I thought we got really great contributions, from everybody. And they did what they did. Jabari made big shots and got big defensive rebounds. Walker was incredible again at the rim and defensively. KD does what he does. He makes shots. He makes things happen defensively and got to the foul line. Zep worked so hard, so solid defensively. Allen made big plays and got downhill. Wendell with 5 assists and a couple of big 3 balls. And Dylan didn't have one of his better games tonight, but that's why Walker and he together are a force. Jalen Williams, so productive in the time he has, needs to be playing more. 2 for 2 and 3 for 3. You can't ask for more than that. And then Devin Cambridge's defense. Devin was so solid out there defensively. It's the sum of our parts.
Our coach will start you with a question from Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Coach, could you talk about what you guys did better to make the comeback late in the first half, and then what you did better offensively in the second half with 51 points?
Well, we stopped turning the ball over. We did a better job of executing, did a better job with our spacing. We weren't very organized for stretches, and we came away with a lot of empty possessions. Give Kentucky credit. They extended. They drove us out of things. They played our strong hands. It was an excellent defensive game plan by Kentucky, and it certainly bothered us. We made some adjustments, and we anticipated some of that, and we did obviously then did a better job in the second half, offensively with the offense in front of my bench.
Go to Bennett Durando next.
Yeah, Bruce, I know we've talked a bit about Zep's sort of consistency and ability to be a sort of quiet impact player. He was a team high plus 17 today. How can you sort of just describe his steadiness and what it is about him on the floor that changes a game?
Well, he doesn't turn it over. And if you look at how important an assist turnover ratio is to the time that you're on the floor. And he's so solid defensively. He's so unselfish. But Zep can score. And every time he shoots one, we think it's going to go in. And I actually thought a lot about putting him in there in the last 4 or 5 minutes just because he is so good defensively.
Justin Ferguson.
Bruce, coming into the game, there was a lot of talk about the rebounding battle, especially with Oscar. For them, you guys have more rebounds than they did. It seemed like everybody played a part into it. What do you say about the rebounding effort against a team like Kentucky?
Well, I mean, Jabari with 7, Walker with 5, defensive boards, and Allen with 4. Those 3 guys led us. Their physicality. Jabari got some big boy rebounds. Walker, really competed. Obviously, Sheway's a big, strong dude. He got his number, but the others didn't for Kentucky, and that's why we were able to out-rebound the number 1 rebounding team in the country.
Kari Osip next.
Hey, Coach, you've coached in some big games and some important games. Where does this one stack up in terms of what it matters to this team, and especially in making that statement nationally that this is one of the top teams in the country?
Well, I think we held serve. We did what we were supposed to do. This was an incredible opportunity to have Kentucky at home. Both teams are playing very well. And so with Ty going down and us being at home, we did what we were supposed to do. There wasn't a lot of water splashing around our locker room. We didn't win a championship. We're not cutting down nets. We were good enough today to beat a really good team a team that could be good enough to get to the Final Four. And so now we got work to do. We got to go on the road this week to Missouri. They beat Alabama at Missouri. They're a big, strong, physical team, and there's a big prize on our head. And then Saturday we had Oklahoma, and those guys guard as well as anybody. I say that because they guard a lot like we do. They don't have quite the rim protection we do, but boy, the way they're fundamentally guard. So these next two games are going to be two extremely physical opponents, and that's what we got to do. We just got to keep working on, keep getting better, keep staying humble and hungry.
Tobias Wilborn.
Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go. All right, great. Love this technology. But anyway, folks, that sequence at the end with Kessler getting those two dunks, what did that mean to you guys going into the locker room and propelling that into the first half? Thank you for the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know those plays they're extra special. They only count as 2 points. But you obviously have got to execute some things to be able to make those things happen. You got to have great screening, great passers, and the best guy in the country that can finish in the air. There aren't many guys that can do what he can do, and it's not just because he's 7 feet tall. He's special in the air, offensively and defensively. Great hands, and not afraid. He's a tough kid, and but we definitely had some opportunities at the rim, but it takes spacing, and it takes players like Wendell or Zep to be able to get those guys the ball, and Walker to finish. And when you got Jabari on the court and they're not leaving him, and you could stick him in certain places where, all right, if you don't want to leave him because you just don't want him to get his numbers, fine, we'll take advantage of that spacing.
Next is Haley Sutton.
Bruce, you've got a student section that camped out overnight to watch this game. You've got a packed out arena for the 10th time this season. You've got people chanting #1, Bruce, all of that. From your perspective, how fun has this been, and just what is this experience like for you?
Well, it's fun, and Jabari even said to me, Coach, is this going to get you to smile, right? But my job is to train this team and understand and keep some things in perspective. I am grateful to Auburn. I'm grateful to our students. If we'd have lost the game, I'd have felt bad for them because they froze their asses off last night. Now we did everything we could to feed them and hydrate them, but we couldn't keep them warm. And I got some ideas for that now. I think we ought to sort of rebuild that plaza out there. It needs to be named. It's not going to be Pearlville. It's going to be Jungle City. And Jungle City is going to live just outside Auburn Arena. And we're going to do some things out there to make that kind of a camping ground a little bit. Auburn's an outdoorsy place. We got great weather. I just think we should create Jungle City. And I bet you I could get a few donors to help me with that project.
Guys, we got time for a couple more. We'll go to Brian Matthews next.
Hey, Bruce. Just wanted to ask you about the second half. You cut down the turnovers by a bunch. You also hit almost all your free throws. How big was that, you think, the final outcome?
Well, it was good. Get the right guys to the line. Didn't turn it over. Took care of the ball. Got the ball in the pressure to a number of different guys. We only turned it over, I think, one time against pressure late. So that was really solid. And, this should give the guys some confidence to be able to close out the next one.
Johnny Congdon.
Hey Bruce, just a quick question about Jabari. That little sequence there towards the end when they tried to make a run, made it an 8-6-point game. He gets a stop on the low block, and then he jab steps a man or two and pulls up from 18 feet, drills that, and I felt like the entire arena kind of had a collective deep breath, sigh of relief. Can you just talk about him as a closer for your program?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great point. Look, and I've said this before, there are 9 really good players out there, and there are times when we got number 10 and you don't, and it was time for number 10 to step up and make a couple big shots and make a couple big plays. He's not afraid of the moment. Now I got it. Jabari knows that because he holds himself to a high standard, but when it gets to nut cutting time, He ain't afraid.
We'll wrap you up with a question from Ken Cross.
Go ahead, Ken. Ken Cross, go ahead, Ken.
Cool. Yeah, hey, the first half, Kentucky scored 12 points on the offensive glass. They only had 2 in the second half. Was there some kind of adjustment you guys made at halftime on that?
Yeah, we stopped turning the ball over and letting them get runouts and, and follows. And so they did what they did in the first half. Transition, offensive rebounds. We turned it over, some bad shots, bad execution. That led to, the floodgates for Kentucky. In the second half, we took care of the ball. We only had 1 turnover, took away their fast break, and guarded them in half court.
Talking a little trash on the field? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's terrible. Keep it clean. Keep Alabama beautiful.